The singer and songwriter Kevin McCall took to his social media account, and what he did was very messy. But the question is, was it zesty? And I think it was quite zesty what Kevin McCall did. And I'm going to read the comment, or rather the post he made, verbatim. He directed it to Bryson Tiller, the singer, but it was indirectly targeting singer Chris Brown. But it was a strong, strong message. And I don't think that Kevin McCall was joking. I don't. I think that there's a zesty battle going on. And I didn't want to cover this story until Chris Brown responded. So Chris Brown has responded. And I'm just going to give you my lesbian perspective over this whole Kevin McCall, Chris Brown beef. Well, we know that Chris Brown and Bryson Tiller, they just finished their tour together. And the hit song by them, It Depends, with the Usher hook, is a hit. I actually really like the song. I loved the dance that Chris Brown choreographed for the song It Depends. Him and Bryson Tiller did a great job on the song. And I think that Kevin McCall, he just can't stop thinking about the good old days when he was actually able to be in videos with Chris Brown and performing. And we all know that Kevin McCall wrote the Deuces track, and Chris Brown wanted the song for himself. So Kevin McCall claims that he didn't want to give Chris Brown the song, but when Chris Brown told Kevin McCall that you can be on the song as well, then Kevin McCall agreed to allowing Chris Brown to have the song. So from my understanding, the beef started after the Deuces situation, and Kevin McCall claims that Chris Brown didn't pay him for the performances or the music, or he said the paperwork wasn't right, like the contracts. But I don't think that Kevin McCall knows how to handle his business. He made it clear that he didn't know much about the music industry and the business side of it. So how can he really know how much Chris Brown owes him? But that's another story. I just want to go into this wild, zesty post that Kevin McCall sent to let the world know something that I think is quite zesty. I'm going to go over the comments and the video footage, so stay tuned. I am Giselle Wallace, certified gay life coach and author. I provide my lesbian perspective. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and share the video, and follow me on my social media. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, which is now called X, and of course, YouTube. My handle is at Giselle A. Wallace. Thank you for following and thank you for subscribing. All right, so I see here Bryson Tiller is hugging Chris Brown. He has gifted him with a brand new Lamborghini. From my understanding, that is like a very rare sports vehicle, and it's one of the most expensive vehicles in the world. It is quite an extravagant gift, and I'm just going to tell you what my lesbian thoughts are when I first saw this clip. I immediately knew that Bryson Tiller was showing his respect and his appreciation for Chris Brown, because just imagine being able to go on tour with Chris Brown. I think Bryson Tiller opened the show, and they have this hit song called It Depends, which has the Usher track in it as well, like it's a snippet. So shout out to Chris Brown for honoring Usher in that song. And the tour was successful. The song is successful. It's viral. I heard that Chris Brown made over $90 million for this tour. So he sold out the tour. I don't blame Bryson Tiller for buying Chris Brown a Lamborghini. I'd buy Chris Brown a Lamborghini because do you know how his status has elevated? I think it's wonderful that he showed his respect and appreciation for this. Now, where it gets a little bit weird is when you look at the quote, or the comment rather, from Kevin McCall regarding this video footage of Bryson Tiller gifting Chris Brown with his brand new Lamborghini. I'm going to read it here. He says, at Bryson Tiller, I told you, little bro, crazy light skin. I just want to say, black people, stop using the N-word. I'll proceed. I told you, little pro, crazy light skin, blank, got the best. This is a very zesty word. And he uses the word bussy, and he has like 5 exclamation marks at the end. He got you hooked now too, and it's like 4 question marks. That, he's using curse words, is fire, huh? Question mark. Now I'm hot. And then he has the angry emoji face where he's like blowing steam. Why won't he divorce me? And then he has like 3 laughing emojis. And then he has the rainbow emoji, and he has hashtag gay pride paperwork party soon. And he has a question mark with the eyes of him looking. Now, this is pretty messy. And the first thing I thought was, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me he's calling out Chris Brown like this? Of course, it was indirectly, but it was very direct at the same time. But he uses Bryson Tiller because he's going for Bryson Tiller because he's insinuating that Bryson Tiller and Chris Brown are getting it in. In other words, they are involved in a zesty sexual relationship. This comment is very direct. It's targeting Chris Brown, and he's making it known to the world, because this is social media, that he, Kevin McCall, has had a sexual encounter with Chris Brown. Do you know how serious of an allegation this is? He is blatantly letting you know Kevin McCall is making it seem that him and Chris Brown have been involved with each other sexually. This is crazy. This is crazy. Now, I will say this. Kevin McCall is deliberately trying to tarnish Chris Brown's reputation by calling him gay in order to degrade a person. And this is very heated. It's a very heated post. I can just tell Kevin McCall is very angry with Chris Brown. I believe he's holding a grudge. He sees Bryson Tiller and Chris Brown. They're happy, they're excited, they're making money, they're famous, they're successful. And I think this is bringing back flashbacks to Kevin McCall at his time when he was hanging out with Chris Brown. But his situation didn't work out as well. And of course, Chris Brown responded. And Chris Brown, this is actually from TMZ. TMZ made commentary. On the contrary, Chris had seen the interview and he had the time to respond and had no mercy for Kevin's crocodile tears or his money woes. Chris Brown posted to his IG stories, "Remember this, you can't walk across a burnt bridge, and you know what's funnier than a troll? A broke one." Now, what TMZ is referring to, Kevin McCall was just on a podcast interview and he literally broke down, crying about how broke he is, how he's on EBT food stamps. It was quite a embarrassing outburst of emotion. And not because I think it's an issue with a man crying. Men should cry. Men should be able to express their feelings. But Kevin McCall, I have no empathy for him because Kevin McCall is a very violent man. I was looking at the actress and model Eva Marcel, and she was sharing her story about how Kevin McCall was very violent. It was DV in their relationship, and it was so devastating to hear and to see her pain. My heart went out to Eva Marcel, but she's not the only one who's experienced DV from Kevin McCall. I have no respect for any type of man who puts his hands on a woman. Kevin McCall is responsible for his own financial issues. You are a man. You figure out a way to make ends meet. But he wants to go on a podcast and he wants to just troll Chris Brown. He wants to threaten Chris Brown because it was a scene where he pulled out a pocket knife and he was threatening Team Breezy if they came up on him. He's very troubled. It was quite alarming to see him on that podcast, and his emotional breakdown is very concerning. I do believe that he needs to get help. He needs mental health treatment, because if he is going through depression, if he's having thoughts, if you know what I mean, I 100% hope he gets the help that he needs. But I do not feel sorry for Kevin McCall because he is his worst enemy. His enemy is not Chris Brown. His enemy is not anyone else but himself. Now, Chris Brown, his response back, he didn't even focus on those alleged gay accusations that Kevin McCall threw at Chris Brown. Why? Why should he? Kevin McCall was telling on himself. Because if anything, I think that Kevin McCall is DL. And a lot of DL men, they will do anything to try to make another man look bad when they are jealous of them. And I think Kevin McCall is quite jealous of Chris Brown. I think he's very angry. I think he's beyond angry, at a point where he has lost control. I mean, he was on that podcast, he broke down crying, and he's blaming Chris Brown for his financial issues. It's pathetic. I think Chris Brown's response was very clever. And Chris Brown, he was like, I'm not going to even get on video for this. So he just posted this here on his Instagram account, I think in his stories. Kevin McCall is the one who looks like the zesty, down low, pathetic black man. He's telling on himself. And it, to me, honestly, I'll say it sounds to me like he wants to sleep with Bryson Tiller and Chris Brown. But those are just my lesbian thoughts. I will say this. This is where this was a spin. And it made things a little bit more zesty. I'm going to just be honest with you. This is the commentary from TMZ, and this is referring back to Kevin McCall being on that podcast and breaking down. After Kevin's mental breakdown over a $25,000 payment Chris supposedly owed him on the Back on Fig podcast went viral, Thug intervened and told the struggling singer-songwriter that Chris, the megastar, likely had been too busy to address whatever issues they were having. This is Young Thug's post comment to Kevin McCall. Kevin McCall, hit me, my black people, stop saying the N-word. I'll give you the $25K you need, and I know CB would give it to you also. Bro, he a real one. Blank is busy sometimes, brother. Young Thug jumped in trying to save Kevin McCall. And me personally, I think Young Thug is in the closet. He's so obvious that he's into the boys, but he's the only one who acts like he doesn't know it. Young Thug jumping into this makes it all more zestier. It just confirms the zestiness going on. I think Young Thug is zesty. I think Kevin McCall is zesty. And of course, Young Thug, it's just breaking his heart. He's jumping in. He's crossing that bridge that has been burnt. Because see, Chris Brown has made it very clear to Kevin McCall that you can't cross a burnt bridge. But Young Thug is coming to the rescue. He's got his super cape on, and he's going to give Kevin McCall $25,000. And then he even says Chris Brown will give Kevin McCall $25,000. I think that Young Thug needs to speak for himself, because Chris Brown made it clear that he's not helping Kevin McCall out because he doesn't owe him anything. He won't even give him any charity. He doesn't have to. Kevin McCall is an adult, but he doesn't act like one. Nobody else is the problem. They are their own problem. And until Kevin McCall takes responsibility and accountability for his own actions, he's always going to be zesty on the DL. You see, he exposed himself. He was trying to expose Chris Brown and call him gay because he wanted the world to attack Chris Brown. And this is a very evil move because, see, Kevin McCall knows that there's a lot of people who are homophobic in this world. And he knows that if he can financially destroy Chris Brown's career, where people will turn on Chris Brown, he thinks the best way to do it is to call him gay. Do you see how evil and homophobic that is? Well, that is the behavior of a DL man. And Kevin McCall exposed himself as being the one who is zesty on the low. Well, maybe Young Thug will come to the rescue and give zesty Kevin McCall the $25K. But what will happen after he gets the $25K? Is he going to blow it like he did before? Is he going to blame Chris Brown for all his problems? If he really wanted to be friends with Chris Brown, if he really wanted to have a successful career, he would have never stooped this low. But he did. And when you are somebody who is not living in your truth, instead of working on yourself, you will always strive to destroy other people who actually are good for you. But see, you don't deserve to have good people in your life because you're not good to other people. Look in the mirror, be responsible, be accountable, be honest, and pick yourself up off the ground, because nobody owes you a thing. I am Giselle Wallace, certified gay life coach and author. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and share this video, and follow me on my social media at Giselle A. Wallace. Thank you.